And where I initially said I don't want an epidural, like I had a whole plan. I had a list typed out. I told my husband, listen, if I want an epidural, this is the reasons you're going to tell me why I do not want an epidural. I went to him and I said, please, can I have an epidural? Forget what I said.
Welcome to Momcast, where we talk about everything mom. Today we have Mariaan as our guest, and we're going to talk a little bit about her pregnancy, birth, and feeding journey. Welcome, Mariaan. It is really such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I'm Mariaan. I have a half day job where I manage Goodyear's tire warehouse, and me and my husband have a company together where we do websites, and we also started doing sublimation printing and t-shirt printing and so on. So that's a new adventure.
Oh, that's exciting.
Who doesn't like a challenge?
Yeah, definitely.
challenge. Yeah. And then I have a baby girl. We have a baby girl. She's 3 months old now.
Oh wow, so still fresh out of the oven.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. And I think what we're here for today, we're going to jump right into the questions. And if we can talk a little bit about your pregnancy, if you can maybe describe the range of emotions, emotional changes, and emotions that you experienced throughout your pregnancy. How would you describe it, and how did you deal with the different emotions?
So I was actually very prepared for pregnancy and emotional, whatever it may have in store for me, because we really we've been married for 10 years before we had our first baby, so it was really a moment that we were able to prepare for. And when we said, okay, it's time, I knew that there's going to be emotions, and because I must say that first, I struggle with depression every month with my menstruation. So that's something that I'm used to. It's normal for me. And when I got contraception, it helped a lot just to manage that. So I knew as soon as the contraception is out,
all the emotions going to come back.
Exactly. And even more on top of that, pregnancy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I haven't been pregnant before, so what is that going to be? How is it going to be? So my husband and I had a conversation on how we're going to deal with this, how we're going to prepare for it, and really, it was amazing. I had such an amazing pregnancy. Everything about it was like I was meant to be pregnant. There was no emotional turmoil, there was no depression, there was nothing. It was just, everything about it was beautiful.
You wish you could be pregnant earlier.
Yes, for the rest of my life. It was really, really amazing. So I cannot complain about anything. It will probably come up in your questions later about the physical part, but in terms of emotions, it was amazing. So I didn't really need support regarding that. I just experienced everything in the moment and loved the whole journey. Yeah.
That's amazing to see how different pregnancies and moms and just women overall is about all the emotions. So, because I mean, if I have to think back in my pregnancy or pregnancies, I think emotionally also I felt good. I think it was also more the physical changes. But I've heard of other moms that like it was completely different for them with emotions and overwhelming and something they had to get used to. And I think for your first pregnancy, I really hope all your pregnancies are going to be exactly like this. So the physical changes, what was the most significant changes? Obviously, apart from the belly growing, what was the most significant changes? Were there challenges? Did you have a bit discomfort or pain? And how did you manage it?
In the beginning, the first trimester was probably the hardest for me. I was very sick and exhausted all the time, which was a bit difficult in terms of going on with life as well. You know, work and everything that takes its time in your life. But it was also perfect because it helped me to slow down a bit and to take this new season that is approaching for what it is. So it slowed me down a lot because I was sick and tired all the time. I remember sitting at work and thinking, okay, I'm just going to close my eyes for 2 seconds, and then someone comes and wakes me up. Listen, the truck is here, we have to load. Okay, so yes, but in the process, getting closer to our baby's arrival, I realized how important it is to slow down and to take things at a slower pace, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed being forced to take things slower. So I think that was the maybe not the hardest part, taking things slower, because I didn't have another choice. It was forced upon me to take things slower, but it was life changing. So in other terms of physical, obviously body changes, but it's also something. Okay, maybe I'm still she's still 3 months, so it's not as if it's such a long time. I'm still working on the post baby figure, but it's also as if I accepted it in a way. It's difficult to explain, but I enjoy this part because it shows that I had her, and
you grew a little baby.
Yes.
You grew a baby human. So
if I should hear myself having this conversation before I was pregnant, I would be like, no, Mariaan, please don't think that.
Just get back into shape.
Yes, but I'm not. I'm okay with this. I'm happy, and
I think that's something all moms can take, like to really embrace the season you're in, embrace the motherhood. I have this saying that says, enjoy the process of becoming, whatever, becoming a mom, becoming a business woman, whatever you want to become, but enjoy the process, not just wishing everything past, even with the pregnancy. And that's amazing that you said, like, it forced you to slow down, because you also need to enjoy it. It's 9 months, at that time might feel long, but also it goes fast, so quickly. And I think it's, if you can give a tip, if I can take what you said now, like to moms out there, to really slow down, enjoy the process, enjoy being pregnant, and if you are sick, know that it's gonna end at some point. And also the time is like, I'm not a person that takes naps, but you're in that first trimester also, if my head hit the pillow, I would sleep. I think especially in the first trimester, it's normal to feel tired, and I think to experience that is actually amazing, because that's the crucial time of the baby growing, and that's why you're so tired, and that's why we experience all these things. So I think besides the belly growing, the other things that we're going to feel is going to be normal, and it's such a huge thing for me to let moms know that all these stuff, especially when you had your first baby. With me, with the second one, I knew what to expect. So as soon as I got so tired, I exactly knew, okay, I think I'm pregnant. That was the one thing that I knew, okay, this means I'm pregnant, when I got so tired. But yeah, it's amazing. Your body is going through so much changes, and it's amazing to know that you've accepted it, and it's exciting to see that when we are busy growing this human being, that our body changes, and also after birth. It's amazing to hear that you say that you've accepted it, you're happy with where you are, and that's what moms need to be, because that is emotional well-being as well.
If I can add to that, having a girl, it's also important for me to set the example. Because I don't want her to look at me and think, oh, I have to work on my body constantly, and everybody accept you or do not accept you based on how you look. So it's very important for me to start now already, setting that example of it's okay. Obviously take care of yourself and make sure you look well and feel good and are healthy. But your physical appearance, I wanted to look at me and say, I love my body because my mommy showed me that example.
No, that's amazing. And if you could think, were there any challenges or surprises during your pregnancy, and how did you deal with it, or Like, did you just slide through it?
Surprises. Okay, so well, we wanted a natural birth at home as well. So that was kind of, I think, the whole pregnancy through. That was the main thing. How is she going to get born?
Okay.
So up to the very end, we didn't know how, because we prayed a lot about it, and I said if I go to the gynecologist and I have peace about him and the situation, then I'm going to go with him, and it was like that. I had peace, but I still wanted the home birth. So that was kind of challenges that I had mentally or emotionally, whatever, to decide on how we want to do the whole birth thing. So at the end, we did do, we'll probably talk about it later, more in detail about the labour part. But that was kind of the biggest challenge for me, is how is she going to... Yes. And I knew, like I said to myself then, in a few months from now, you're going to look back and think, oh, this is how it happened. Can I just know already? How is it going to happen? So that I'm prepared for it. So I think that was, it sounds silly, but it was a big thing for me, because it's a first baby, and you hear a lot of stories about bad births going wrong, and a great friend of mine didn't want to go natural the second time because she had such a bad experience the first time. So you have to work all around these battles, if I can call it that, because it's a big thing. I really wanted a good experience. So yes, I think that's maybe the biggest thing for me.
And if I can ask, are you a fit person? Do you like exercising? Did you exercise prior to your pregnancy and during pregnancy? How did that fit into?
That was maybe the second challenge. Yes, I was a very fit person before pregnancy, going to the gym every day. Not like a crazy bodybuilder, but just healthy, healthy fit. And I said, through my pregnancy, I'm going to make sure I go to the gym every day, it's good. And yes, it worked not in the first trimester because I was sick and sleepy. So I said, okay, the second trimester, then I'll really go back to the gym. And I struggled. I didn't want to, but I was also okay with not wanting to. It's strange. And in the third trimester, I started going back to the gym more permanently, which is strange because you would think, okay, well, then you're at the biggest, and, but I enjoyed gym then again for the first time in the third trimester. And then, up to the very end when I really just could walk. I remember I would walk on the treadmill and the guy next to me asked me, so how far are you? And I said, 30 minutes. He said, no, I mean, when is your baby coming? And I remember that was 39 weeks, at the end of 39 weeks. So I really enjoyed it, only in the last part. And now I struggle again. I struggle to get back into it. I go like maybe twice a week. So
which is still awesome that you're at least still going. But I mean, for you that are used to going every day, 2 feels really like a grade lower than what you're used to. But it's so nice to hear that you actually, even throughout your whole pregnancy, didn't go to the gym or exercise. And then in the third, because I think a lot of moms out there think, no, if they don't start from the beginning, or if then they can't exercise through pregnancy. Obviously, you have to speak to your gynecologist if you're unsure about if it's healthy for you to start later in your pregnancy. But I think it's so good for moms to know that it's never too late. It's never too late to just do something, just to move your body. And I mean, definitely in the first trimester, you don't feel like doing anything because you feel so sick the whole time. For those who do feel sick, but I think that was an amazing coping mechanism for me. So, did you have any coping mechanisms when you felt overwhelmed or when you were tired? Did you have anything that helped you through the difficult times in your pregnancy?
Sleeping.
That is a great coping mechanism.
I think it's definitely part of my personality. Whenever I experience stress, I sleep. So people envy me for that sometimes. But really, during pregnancy, that was also the thing for me. If I was ever overwhelmed or things were too much, I just slept. I slept it off.
And
it helps.
yes, and I think that's also with personality differences. I think with me, if I get stressed, like I can't sleep, then my head's going. So, like you said, I wish I could sleep when I'm stressed, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier about your birth plan that you had. What were your exact birth plan, and did it go as planned? And if not, what changes occurred?
So initially, like I said, I wanted a home birth. I think the whole thing about home birth was that it's beautiful, private, it's at your house, it's calm. It goes along with my personality, being more free and
Did you want it unmedicated?
yes, unmedicated at home. So I was very open for the whole experiencing it at home. I jokingly said to my husband, well, he's got a level 3 first aid, so he can catch the baby. He's not as chill as I am. He was like, no, I'm not just
I'm not up for this.
So
This plan.
So I did contact a midwife, and she gave me her quotation. She also said because it's a first pregnancy, you have to hire a doula as well, and you still have to go to your gynecologist. It ended up being very expensive.
I can imagine.
Yes, and we have a very good medical aid, so it didn't make sense to have the medical aid, but you cannot use it for the birth plan, and also it's risky. So what if something goes wrong? Are you prepared to go to the hospital because it's a new baby, first baby for me? I don't know how it's supposed to feel, what is normal, what is not. So I really struggled with all of that. Prayed a lot about it, and I remember I said I think it was my second or third appointment at the gynecologist, and I said, well, today is the day where we're going to discuss the birth plan. And if I have, also, a side note, our GP also does home births or practice births. So that was also an option to do it at his practice, which is just a natural unmedicated birth. And that was my second option, but it's also not supported by the medical aid. So we also had to pay for it, an amount we didn't know. And if it didn't go according to the plan, if something went wrong, we should go to the hospital. But he doesn't practice at any of the...
So you have to go to someone
state
else
hospital,
and someone telling you.
Yes, so, or to a new doctor, yes.
Yeah.
So that was also, So anyway, we went to the gynecologist. We are going to discuss the birth plan today. And I remember praying, just say to God, listen, if I have peace today, then I should go this way. I just want to know if I have peace, this is the route. I'm going to the gynecologist to the hospital for natural as possible birth. And I had so much peace. I remember that evening, my pastor asked me, so how did it go? Because I told him. And I said, I have so much peace. I still don't want to do the home birth, but I don't know. I have peace about this route. And he said, well, then you have your answer. And so we just continued with the process. Up till the third trimester, I still wanted to do the home birth, but I just followed the route where the peace took me. So at the end, we did go to actually, at 40 weeks, my last appointment at the gynecologist, he told me, listen, I know you don't want it to be induced, but this baby needs to come. She was still very small and tiny, but he said she's fully developed. There's nothing good that happens after 40 weeks. That was his words. So he said, let's get her out. There's no need for her to stay any longer. And the main reason I was against inducing was I didn't want to force her to come too quickly, and then I'm not prepared for the labor process, and then it might end up, I might get an epidural or need medication, or her heart rate goes up and it ends up being C-section. So just because of all the unknowns that might follow, because of the quicker rate birth happens, I didn't want to get induced. And he said, but there's nothing to worry about. She's happy, you are calm. As long as we can keep you both calm, we can do the induction slowly. We do a slow process, and then she can still come naturally. It doesn't have to happen quickly, and and that's something I must say. We had the conversation, and I told the gynecologist I want a natural birth, and he said, well, he's not going to force me to do it any other way. As long as she's healthy, and she's happy. I want natural for you as well.
Yeah.
And that was the best words for me to hear, because I knew he was on my side. I
Yeah.
had that peace, and
It's
I
not
felt.
going to be against your choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and he said he wants me to have natural because I can. There's nothing wrong. Everything is good, going good. So anyway, I must say, he used very good words to to make me feel better, probably by experience. But anyway, so he induced at 40 weeks and 2 days, and actually 40 days and 1 day, 40 weeks and 1 day, and the induction didn't work. She didn't want to come, so I was in labour the whole day.
Oh my goodness!
Was it about 20 hours? And I stayed in labour, but I didn't go far enough, or I didn't dilate far enough for her to actually come. So he stopped the induction, and he said, okay, let's, because they keep on giving you medication to keep you in labour. So he stopped it, made me sleep the night, rest, and then they started again the next day with another induction. Yeah. But also the first one, it was very slow. They kept on checking her heart, see if everything is fine.
And she was
still fine and calm. And he said, so we can take it slow. There's no rush. As long as you are calm. And he kept on saying to me, women are not as calm as you, and well done, and thank you for that, because he saw me, because you are so calm, your baby stays calm, and you can endure this process. So he said, because you can endure this process, I will go with you. I will take the time, because there's no rush to get this baby out, because you are calm. So I must say that is something for moms. Just stay calm. Don't try to rush anything. I know you're excited and you feel probably huge, but rushing it is not going to help, not you or the baby. But anyway, so he induced the second time, and the whole day went by, no contractions, no contractions. The previous day, at least I had contractions.
Did you have pain during this inductions?
No. The most painful part was the what do you call it? If they check every 2 hours.
The sweep.
Yes, that was not nice. And the doctor told me because of the induction, it is a bit more painful because it's dry. So that was, I must say, the hardest part for me. So the second time around, there was no contractions until very late that afternoon. And when it hit, it was like 2 hours, and she was.
Oh my goodness!
So in the process of, okay, now I experienced the contractions and we're ready to go, and I really didn't want it to stop because I could feel, okay, now it's rushing, and it got painful really quickly. And where I initially said I don't want an epidural, like I had a whole plan, I had a list typed out. I told my husband, listen, if I want an epidural, this is the reasons you're going to tell me why I do not want an epidural. I went to him and I said, please, can I have an epidural? Forget what I said. And he just laughed and said, whatever you want. I said, I'm going to be mad at you afterwards. So now I want this epidural.
This is not what we discussed.
And so I got an epidural, but also I told the nurse I don't want this contractions to stop again because it happened the previous day.
And you're scared it's going to have to get another one.
Yes, and there wasn't more time because the hospital only gives you 3 days to sleep over, and I was already on the second day. So I knew my time is running out. This baby must come now. There's no other way. And if she didn't come that way, it would have been C-section, and that I really didn't want. So I told the nurse I don't want the contractions to stop. And she said, okay, we can break your water. That will make sure that she will come now, but it's very painful. And at that stage, I already told her I want the epidural. So she said, let's get you the epidural, and then after it started working, then we break your water, then she will come. And I said, okay, let's do that. And she literally, the anesthesiologist put in the epidural. As soon as it started working, I think it was maybe 5-10 minutes, I can't remember. It's an interesting pain to describe to someone. I remember saying before I was pregnant, I must remember how it feels, because nobody can really explain how labor pains feel. Some say it's like menstrual pains, others say back pain, but I must remember. And now that I've been through it, I really can't say how it feels.
I think in that time, your focus is so on I am getting a baby that obviously you feel this pain, but you're not thinking, I must remember in that moment.
I think that is the best way to describe it. You're so focused in this moment. Nothing else around you is there. It doesn't exist. It's really just this moment. And I must say, it's also a strange kind of pain because it's something that you say, I will go through it again. Even though it is so severe that you cannot focus on anything else, you're like, but I can do this again. So it's strange.
It's so amazing. I know exactly what you mean because with after my first baby, obviously in that I had a C-section. I had to get a C-section, and after that, it was obviously for a short amount of time. It was really painful if you didn't take your pain meds like exactly on time. And I remember I told myself, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna walk, because the sooner I walk, the sooner I'm gonna start healing and feel better. And it's exactly what happened. It was really sore to start walking, but as soon as I did, I started feeling better. And when I wanted to get in that moment, I was like, yo, how am I gonna go through this? Like, we want a lot of kids. I'm like, how am I gonna get through this all like a few more times? And then when we were talking about getting pregnant again, it was like I totally forgot about the pain. I was like, no. And when someone asked me, I'm like, no, I can't remember. I don't think I had a lot of pain.
Yeah, no.
And that's such an amazing thing for me, because it just shows you that it's in that moment it might be sore, but it's such a short time and you don't even remember that. You just remember the time of having this little baby, this little human, and to nurture that baby. I think that's the only thing that I remember from that time being in the hospital. I don't remember the pain. And every time exactly after the birth, I'm like, how can I do this again? And then when you want another baby, you just totally forget. And that's the amazing, that's
Beautiful.
that's exactly how beautiful it is to have a baby. So I know exactly what you mean. Like, you can't describe because you kind of forget about the pain, you know.
Well, anyway, so just to end my story, so she broke my water after the epidural started working, and she said, "Well, you're fully dilated." So she literally broke the water, and I was dilated to get the baby out. And I remember the first thing I asked, "What color is her hair?" She's like, brown. So yeah, we laughed. And something that was also beautiful for me that you watch a movie where birth happens and it's really not like that at all.
Yeah.
I remember being in the theatre, and I call it theatre because that's what they call it, but theatre is a wrong word because theatre feels like, beep sounds at the back and a lot of doctors and everything, everyone's got their nursey blue thingies on, suit on, and this was probably because it was natural, but it was in this quiet, beautiful room where it was just the doctor and the nurse that assisted him, me and my husband. And my husband literally stood next to the doctor, maybe just because he's comfortable with it. And we laughed and made jokes, also maybe because the epidural kicked in, so I didn't have pain at that stage, which was also nice because I felt the contraction, so I was able to push and feel when to push without having the pain. So it was, after all, it was really, really amazing, and we had this calm environment, just like the four of us, and we joked and had fun and laughed. It was really like, it's nothing like in the movies at all. It was beautiful. And then after the birth, they gave me the baby, and she lied on my chest, and they walked away, and they left us for literally, I think, an hour. And we initially asked, or if at the end we asked them, are they going to weigh her or measure her? And they said, yes, whenever you're ready. And so it was such a beautiful time. My husband's parents and my mother as well came into this theatre and held her, and everything. It was beautiful. It was like a home birth, but in a safe environment. And so I did have a vaginal septum, which is basically something they had to cut off in the process when she came out. And it's so beautiful because if that happened at home, she wouldn't have been able to come out. So my husband should have then rushed me to hospital. So at the end, it worked out perfectly. I should have been at hospital, and that's why I had the peace and why I had to go there. But it was so beautiful. It felt like it was home.
And I think that's also like moms need to know that everyone's experience are different. As long as you make it beautiful in the setting that you are in. And I also remember with my second boy, we were also in the theatre, and I had to get the C-section again, and the anesthesiologists were like, you were making jokes, and my husband were laughing because they were talking, and it was such a fun environment. And I think that's something I would also tell moms, like, make it your own, make the moment your own. Try to, even because it is stressful. Everyone, like you said, everyone isn't as calm as you are, and if you are a person that might tend to get stressed or something, I think mom should know that do something, talk about something that makes you happy, that makes you feel calm in that moment. And yeah, I remember also and that's the thing, you don't remember the pain, you remember the special moments. With my first boy, I laughed when you said, what's the color there? Because I thought none of my children are going to have hair because I were born without any hair. I don't even have hair till like 1 year old. So I was like, no, I'm going to make peace with it. My baby's not going to have hair. And then the first time I saw my baby boy, my firstborn, he had this black hair, and I was like, oh, he has hair! And that's like the first thing I said. And yeah, I think to try and remember those special moments and make it your own. Yeah, so if you can think of after the birth, how did you have any pain? What did you do to ease the pain? Or did you recover quite quickly? How was that experience for you?
I really did recover very quickly. I had stitches, so stitches to get her out.
Yes.
Well, the doctor made a cut to get her out, so then he put in stitches afterwards. And my mother told me that's very sore and painful when you sit. So maybe I anticipated more pain. That's maybe why it wasn't so painful for me, because it really wasn't. I remember breastfeeding and everything, you sit in weird positions, like I would cross my legs and sit on the bed, and then I could feel, okay, a lot of movement makes it uncomfortable, but it was really not that painful. It was like a stretching kind of, okay, I'm stretching too much, that area, but no, not pain whatsoever. Breastfeeding was another something else, I'll talk about that, but in terms of my own body after birth, no pain whatsoever.
That's amazing. And I think, with the whole thing that you went through and the plan that you had, to stick with it, but also to listen to heart, to listen to that peace, and because I think sometimes we have this plan exactly like you said. You had this perfect plan, and obviously there was changes, but it was good changes. And that's your story, and how amazing it is that actually everything worked out exactly. And you mentioned now that you breastfeeding is something different. So if I can say, what was the initial decision making process regarding breastfeeding or formula feeding, and what influenced your decision?
Well, for me, there was no option. I knew I wanted to breastfeed my baby because it's the best for my baby. So I never even considered formula whatsoever. I must say, maybe because my mother and my grandmother was able to breastfeed, I didn't even doubt that there's a chance that I won't be able to. So I just knew I was going to, and that's just the only way. So yes, there was no even thinking about formula, and I'm very glad about that decision.
It's also a lot cheaper.
It's really so.
But did you have any challenges with your breastfeeding?
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
So something that I'm very grateful for. Before she came, we did prenatal classes at the hospital. It was like a week every night sessions, and they showed us a lot about what to expect, breastfeeding and whatever. So I was really prepared. I thought, well, I've got this. And when I had this baby and I had to breastfeed her, I felt like, no, I don't have this. So much as I need to learn, she also needs to learn. So she was
Yeah.
very willing to drink, but it was so painful. So I struggled to get her to latch, mainly because it was painful for me. So it was that kind of, I want you to latch, but ouch, don't latch.
Yeah.
And so in the beginning, the first 3 days, I had colostrum, which was a little bit of, you know, that liquid gold. So she didn't drink a lot. So it was like maybe, I can't remember how long, but she didn't drink long on me. So it was a quicker session. It was not so painful, maybe because it was still in the beginning.
Yeah.
By day 3, when my milk came in, I think that was the worst for me, because I had so much milk and she wasn't able to latch on me.
So your breasts were quite sore.
So sore, and it was so painful. So I remember I went to Dis-Chem that morning, like 8 o'clock, or 9 o'clock when they opened, to go buy bottles, just so that I could extract all of this milk, put it in bottles, and just give it to her via bottle, because she couldn't drink from me. And I think that was there's no time to think. You just have to do what you think. Okay, this baby needs milk. What am I going to do next? So you kind of,
it's going to be the best for you and her.
Yes. So that's what I did. I remember my husband sitting in front of me and literally milking me like a cow, because there was so much milk and I couldn't get rid of all this milk. But also, it helped to sit in the bath with warm water, but I couldn't let go of this milk because I had to put it in the bottle to give it to her. So I had to kind of extract it.
Just let it walk out.
Yes, I had to bottle it.
Yeah.
So he helped me a lot just to milk me. We laughed about it, but you know, that's what husbands are for, I suppose.
Definitely.
And and then at the end of, I think it was maybe the first week, it started getting better. I went to the hospital baby clinic.
Yeah.
And they helped me so much. So they showed me how to get it to latch, and I mean, it was the same people that did prenatal classes, so I was already familiar with them. It helped, And so they helped me. They also gave me a nipple shield, which really helped. And I remember going back a week or two later, I told him, listen, I'm not going to leave this nipple shield. I tried, but she's going to stay on this now because it's too painful, and it's kind of as if she struggled without it.
Yeah.
And I made my peace with it.
Yeah.
She's going to have I'm going to use the nipple shield. And you won't believe it, until just before 3 months, I still used it, and then I stopped. So I'm not using it anymore.
So you're still breastfeeding
but without it. And I never thought that would happen. I was okay with continuing with it.
the nipple shield.
Yeah, as long as I'm going to breastfeed. But I stopped eventually.
Yeah.
It's still, I want to say, painful in the beginning, like the first, let's say, maybe 10 seconds, and then it's normal. Then it's pain-free. Yeah. So.
And so that time where you were milking, that you were extracting the milk, did you give her a bottle?
A bottle, but not formula, like breastfed bottle.
Breast milk. So and you didn't have a struggle with her then latching again on you after it was better?
No, I didn't. And I hear people say, like, don't give dummy, they're going to struggle with that, and don't get specific bottle.
Talking about nipple confusion.
And don't give bottle with it because you can struggle again with. Maybe I have an easy baby, but I really didn't struggle. I think maybe she was still in the learning phase. Everything was new. So I tried to give her a dummy as well, and she also still doesn't like it very much. But maybe because it's different teats, maybe that's why it wasn't confusing for her. But she was still learning, so there was no option for me. There wasn't like, okay, you don't want me, so now you're gonna get bottle from now on. It was like, no, you're gonna drink from me. There's no option. This was just a phase. Now this phase is over, so now you're gonna drink from me. I think that was my perception or my decision. So yes, maybe I retaught her.
That's awesome, because I think that's something moms need to hear, that it's not over when that first few weeks, or if it's a month, that you can still breastfeed after that. And because I think there's a lot of people that go, the main thing that you even said you heard that people saying it's going to be nipple confusion and everything, but if you want to breastfeed your baby, keep trying. And and yeah, it's amazing. It's great to hear that your story just shows that even though it was difficult in the beginning, now you're still breastfeeding,
Yes.
and that's awesome. I remember as well with my boys both were very big. I have a tall husband, so my babies are big, so they were hungry from the start. So I had the exact opposite.
Sure.
With me, before my milk came in, my babies kept drinking the whole time. I was sitting for 40, 50 minutes drinking because it was almost like I felt like they feel like they're not getting enough, so they want to keep drinking, and that is what made my nipple sore. Like it was raw. And I remember with my first baby, what helped me in the hospital, they gave me ultra red light to put on the nipples. Like basically go sit in the sun.
Yeah, that helps.
And that helped a lot. And I remember also like after the second night, I was crying in the hospital. I was like, I can't do this. I really want to breastfeed, but it's so sore. It's that thing from like, it's just getting into latch is so painful, like your whole body contracts. And then the night nurse, she was so nice. She told me, I know you want to breastfeed, but maybe I can just give a little bit of formula just to rest your nipple so that you can use the ultra red light for a few hours, and then maybe in the morning we try again. And that was the best thing. I felt in that moment, I was like, I also didn't want to give formula, and I was like, no, but maybe he's not gonna then want me, all that mom emotions and challenges. And I was like, I felt so hopeless at the moment. I was like, just give it because I can't do this anymore. And he slept because she gave him a bit of formula, and I think that was the first time he really had something to drink because my milk hasn't come in yet. So he slept for 8 hours. Wow. The nurses came and like, you need to wake your baby and feed him. So I felt, and then my nipples felt a bit better, and then that morning my milk came in, and the same. It was so sore because I was blessed with a lot of milk as well. I know moms struggle to sometimes get enough milk, but I had so much milk. And after I had a friend that had a baby 3 months before me. So when I went home, she came and told me about this haka. So it's just basically a contraption that you put on your breast, and then the milk can just flow out while the baby's drinking on the other side. And that helped me a lot because it felt like while drinking on the other one was just swelling up and getting fuller and fuller, and that was sore. And with my second baby, and that's so amazing, like you learn so much, and then the second one is so much easier because I already took that alcohol with me to the hospital. So as soon as my milk came in, I was like, I got this, I'm putting it on, and I'm feeding, and I did it. And with my firstborn, it was like a week or so that I had to massage my breast because it was so hard and full. And with the second, my secondborn, it was a day, and then it was my breast was soft because I took there's hope because I already knew what to do. So I think that's also something I would tell moms, first-time moms, like to know from the beginning, like don't think you're not going to use it, just take it. It's something I feel like a haka or breast pump or something is something you can have in your cupboard. And if you don't use it for the first one, you might use it for the second one. If you don't, then you can resell it or give it to another mom. I feel that's something, a breast pump or a haka is something you can always purchase before, and that's really going to help with breastfeeding. And nipple shields as well. With the first one, someone told me about a nipple shield, and at the time that I was, after 3 days, I told my husband, you better go buy nipple shields before I get home. I can't do this anymore. And he was struggling to get nipple shields, and then 2 days passed, and when we actually, when he went to the shop, they gave him the wrong thing. And I'm like, now I have to go take it back. And then after like a week, I'm like, you know what, I'm fine now. I don't need it anymore. So I actually didn't use it. So because I didn't use it with the first one, I knew like with the saying, okay, I'm just going to push through this first. But I think that would help a lot. That would make it much less painful. I think I had a little bit more painful longer because I didn't use it. But it's really something I feel it's an amazing thing to do. So to really push through that pain, it's gonna get better. I think that's the one thing we moms need to hear is it's gonna get better. It's not gonna feel like this all the time.
Something that they recommended for me, the nurses, which I didn't do, was to go lie in the sun before your baby comes. It's the same as the red light, to harden your nipples. So obviously when the baby's there, you struggle to find the time.
Yeah.
Because now you have to have the baby and go lie in the sun. You don't have the time. So yes, I would really recommend them doing it earlier. During your third trimester, when you know you're going to breastfeed, you're going to breastfeed, harden your nipples. It might just help.
And that's I think, and it's exciting to know you're still in your breastfeeding journey, and that you can still do it after everything that happened, after all the pain that you went through, and it's still a blessing. So I think it's amazing to hear your story, and thank you so much for sharing it. I really believe that this is gonna be of value to someone. I really want moms to know out there to know what they can expect, what they experience is normal. Because I think with your first baby, there's so many things that are that you don't know. It's basically going into the unknown and experiencing everything for the first time, and to know that all these things that you experience, the pain, the discomfort, the emotions, is normal. That will immediately make you also, I think your emotional well-being will be better, to know that it's okay for me to feel this, okay, it's normal for me to experience this. And with you sharing your story, I really believe someone's going to take it to heart, and also see that they can really push through with their plan that they want, or the experiences, the choices that they make, they can pull through. So thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it. It was such an honor to have you.
Thank you.
Hi, if this video meant something to you today, or you could relate to what we said, please like and subscribe for some amazing content coming. And if there's a mom out there that you know that needs to hear something we said, please share this video, and let's get some love out there to all moms.